Hey there guys, so today I got, as you can see, this is a switch panel. Six buttons is what it meant to. I got it off of Amazon. I think it was $89 before tax and all that. But tax rate will be dependent on where you live and all that. And I intend on putting it in my X3 to run my light bars. I got a front light bar. I want to do a back, maybe not light bar, but pods. And I also picked up this, it's a backup camera. I'll show it in probably a separate video doing installs on it. But I just want to sort of go ahead and show what all came with the panel itself to put it in, because not everybody may not want the backup camera. But everybody does have switches and stuff, or need switches. I'm only going to use it because I intend on putting in a winch and what else? A winch and something else I was intending on. I forget now. But this will get rid of the switches I got in the slots already. And I don't want to put none in the center console between the seats because I rest my elbow, arm there. I'm wanting to mount this off the dash panel somehow. I got this mount, which is a gauge mount for the Can-Ams. Or the X3, I'll say. I don't know what all it fits besides the X3. And it screws into the gauge cluster. And I've seen people put the Switch Pros on there and mount them through this hole somehow. Since this is not a Switch Pro though, I'll probably have to do something different because the switch mount on this one is made different. The Switch Pros had like a bracket that bolts in on the sides, like right here on them, and it swiveled, and people turned it straight back, and then mounted it through that bracket to the cluster. But no big deal, all minor details for me. I also did not know this. I have one in a truck too, but it is a different one. It's a 8 gang, so 8 switches instead of 6. But it looked like the same box and all that, but it must not be. It was about $30-$40 more, but it just had fuses. It didn't have the relays like this one does, which I really like the relays though, because it gives you a little bit extra protection and stuff. And so anyways, looking at this Switch Pro, just I got the top off of it here to see the fuse panel stuff. I was showing y'all that. One side is bigger than the other, just so you know how to line it up. As you can see, that little tab is smaller on this side, bigger on this side. It comes with all those fuses already in it. All the relays are already in it. Don't know what brand they are or anything. So questionable quality, everybody's just out there, unless you spend a lot of money sort of just putting stuff together cheap. It comes with these leads already on it. I think this is your power lead, and it's roughly, I'd say, 5 foot. It also has the terminal end already on it with heat shrink on it. From what I understand is there's a battery wire, which would be your 12-volt hot all the time wire in your accessory panel, or stud, I would say. So I'd assume that's what you put on there. And then there's an accessory wire, which I would assume is this little one. So it don't stay on all the time, and run your battery down if you hook it to the battery. This is your leads for your accessories. They do have numbers on them, if you can see there. Yeah, there was one. You can see 3 off to the right there. It looks like they appear to be crimp connectors on the end already that you don't have to provide your own to an extent. I probably would use some heat shrink or something on them. None comes with it, and there's none off the edge there to heat shrink. It looks like just a butt connector they've already heat shrinked and labeled, so I'd do that. You also already have 2 mountain bolt holes. I mean, it's a nice setup overall, I'll be honest with you, for the price, compared to a Switch Pro. Switch Pro probably is worth the price, but I couldn't really justify it. So that's what I got with this. I'll probably end up just using some zip ties or something and zip tying through these holes to a under dash bar, just for the simplicity and easiness of it. It comes with these zip ties. It probably depends on how good or bad you want to zip tie it up, if those will work. I figured I'll probably need more than that in the end. That's just me though. I like to, make sure I got enough zip tied up. Then this other wire here is your actual wire that goes to your, focus there a little bit please, it goes to your switch panel, that actual switches. I would say that is close to 6 feet. I mean, it's a lot longer than the power wire ones. Also, something I ain't showed yet, this comes straight out of the box and no harness, none. It is a ground wire. I don't know what I'll do with that yet. I'll probably run a wire back to the accessory panel. On my last one I had to run power wires, so I got these two. It's thicker, I think they're 8 gauge. Yeah, they're 8 gauge, 5 foot of 8 gauge wire. I got them because, like I said, on that other one I had to run wires to it for my power and ground, and I was trying to be prepared, and I didn't really pay attention to the picture about that. So I'll have those. I'll probably just use the ground one then, or the one I intend to use is the ground, the black. Run that straight on back to my accessory panel. Something else I also did not intend was my other one had ground panels, or ground wire spots in it where I had to run 2 to it. So I'll probably get a ground bar. I can't get that on one-handed, but whatever. I'll probably get a ground bar and put it up in there too. You can get them at Advance, AutoZone, Amazon. I'm sure 99% of places have them, I'd say. But that's no big deal. So I also have these stickers that came with it. I'm sure you can get more somehow, like just the sticker sheets if you want. I don't know what I'll use yet, This is the bracket I showed you a while ago to mount it. If you don't want to go through all that trouble, you can just mount it to your dash. I didn't want to just screw it straight to my dash, just because I don't want them screw holes there, to be honest. This is the switch panel. See, you got that click. There's 6 of them there. It's a nice flat ribbon, sort of like an Ethernet cord is now. And there's the plug, as you can see. It's got a nice loom around it. It feels good and movable. It ain't real stiff to run wire. And this is the packet they send with you for just the mounting screws and stuff. That's double-sided tape there. There's 4 screws to screw that panel to the back of the switch panel. And there's 2 that go down in there. 2 butt connectors and I don't know what they are called. But you basically just slide that over a power wire, then you can put this wire up in there. It's got a little metal tab. You squeeze down on it, pierces both wires, and put the power or whatever on the other one too. I don't know what those are called, like I said. So that's that. We'll hop to it, see what we can get done. Alright, so far I unbolted my seat. I left my belts and harnesses, in, just because I didn't want to take them all the way out. If you have an XRS, it's 2 nuts up here. I think they're 19s. If you got factory seats, I think it's 4 19s. When you lift up the seat cushion, you can see them. And use the seat slider to move them back to get to them. You zip them out, and you take them 2 off, and they'll come out. On mine, where it's aftermarket seats, it's just bolted through from the bottom on the frame of the seat. So I just undone them, and I wiggle my seat around as I need to get into the accessory panel, I guess you'd say, the bus bar. So as right now, you can see the covers off. I got started already, but no big deal. You just pull them 2 panels out and they slide out. I've also cut all the zip ties off my other stuff. I need to work on it, straighten it up some. So there's that. I have got my switch panel mounted. I don't know if I showed final mounting last night. But that's the final mounts situation there. I got a light bar switch out there because I undid that wiring too to see what it was. So that's where I'm at on the machine side. On this side for the This is for another part of the project, so we'll just set that out of the way. So this is the ground for the ground bar, I'll say. So this is the one that comes off of the fuse box. I'll move that. The one that comes off the fuse box, it gives right here. So this one has two of the, I don't know, I think it was 1/4 inch studs it said. So I put this fuse box one on one end. It already had the end and stuff crimped on it, and it's a fairly long wire. Well, I mean, it's not real long, but you know what I mean. And also that way I don't have to run one from the bus bar on the machine already over to that. So I've got that done. Then I've found my size end I need for the stud that I had. You know, like I said, this one was already on that wire. So I found me one for that, and I put a heat shrink over it, but my crimp is also a heat shrink. So I heat shrinked it and then slid this new heat shrink up on it and heat shrunk it then again. So I've got up to that point. I'm going to try and get that ground wire. I'm going to do my power wires on my fuse panel and then do my ground. So we'll talk to that. Alright guys, so I have my panel mounted. There's a tab in the driver's side kick panel. It's up there next to the cage. I can't really get in there to show you guys very well. But the two mounting holes, I put one up there, and then down here in the plastic, I just drilled a hole about 2 sizes smaller than that screw. It's like a self-tapping screw. It's black. I've had it, I don't know what from. It was something related to Can-Am that I bought, like accessory-wise, when I bought mine. And I just ran that in there, hold it tight. It's not perfectly straight, but I can still access my cover and stuff if I need to. And that was one issue I wanted to take care of. This is my ground bar. I got it zip tied up close, so that'll work. Got my main ground wire ran across over there to my bus bar. I still got to clean up some of that wiring. So I just, on that plate, as you can see, it's sort of just that plate and runs to that plastic when it's bolted down with these end pieces. So I just ran the zip ties around that and zip tied it to it, so I don't have to drill any holes or anything of that sort of nature into my cage, or my, I guess you'd say frame. Alright, so I have my wiring on my accessory terminals put back on, I believe. Still gotta do the wiring, like I said. So what I'm gonna do before I start zip tying up and putting stuff back together, I'm gonna see and make sure that my stuff works. As far as all my lights and all that coming on, my switch panel's lit up. Looks pretty killer. Everything seems to be lighting up that I would have had loose, proving that it's got power. The only thing that's not lit up that I'll have to work on is this harness came with my light bar when I bought it. And here's the plug for it actually. But this extra part, it's got the wire into the relay and all that already in it to come to this switch. So since my switch box already has relays and stuff in it, I'm going to end up just cutting the relay part off of it. And just like this end down here comes from the light, I'll end up cutting it and just wiring it into my Switch Pro. Or not my Switch Pro, I'm sorry, it misspoke. My Amazon Switch Pro, I'll call it. And just hook my wires up to that, hook my power wire up to that, and then I'll have to, you know, ground one on the bus bar there. But that's no big deal, everything's working. You know, I'm gonna zip tie my wiring up and put my panels back together, and we'll see what we got from there. Alright, so one thing I wanted to mention before I got this all buttoned up. When I zip tie, my trouble was before that I wanted to redo it, was that all my wires was sticking towards the seat side. So it was bumped out against my plastic panel. And sometimes my plastic panel was hard to put back in if I took it out for some reason. Which, like when I put these seats in, was tough because that bolt has to come out. And so you have to take the panel out to get that bolt out. So what I've done is I put them on top, or tried to push them towards the inside, like up here for this front panel, and zip tie them so that they stay on top or towards the inside. And looks like it's going to help quite a bit, but I'm sure it'll still be, you know, wider than a normal harness. But again, I do have the MTX Can-Am factory sound system, and that is quite a bit of wiring that runs through there, because you have your power wires and stuff that come from the head unit here. Then your back speakers there and there come up through that tunnel also to go up to the head unit. And then you got excess wire, because this, I believe it's the same system whether it's a 4 or a 2. You know, they just make one for a 4, then they ship it for you no matter what if you're a 2-seater. The only difference really would be the wiring length. Alright guys, so I got, well, I guess what I'll call my Amazon Switch Pro Special mounted up here. I got the, I'm not sure exactly what it's called. I know it's a gauge mount for the X3. And the thing is, there's 2 Torx screws in these Phillips head spots from the factory. And this gauge mount is made to mount to either side of the cluster. As you can see, like this, here's the Torx screws. So, you take them out, and the gauge mount comes with 2 longer Phillips screws to put back. So I've got that mounted. And then I took, and the mount that the Switch Pro piece came with, I put on here. I drilled 2 holes, and it's a 2 1/16 loop here. So I cut it off. You can see there I need to do some grinding work, I guess you'd say. Feels like it's aluminum, to be honest. I need to do a little bit of that. So for just now, I've just put these pop rivets in it to hold it, and I sort of, you know, bend it up a little bit. The mount does come with a 90-degree originally down here. I straightened this piece down, as you can see where it's bent right there, so they would mount straight up and down and be able to drill the holes like that. So in time, I'm going to get nuts and bolts, you know, small black ones put in there instead of those rivets. Like I said, this is just so I get that to that point. I didn't think about that till I was installing it a while ago. So probably what I'm going to do with my wire is, that's very poor lighting, but there's a metal channel right here where my finger is. It runs, it's what your steering column pivots on, actually, is to feel it. And, or I could run it with the wire and harness here for the gauge, or gauges. I might just sort of zip tie it up there, let her eat. But I'm gonna get it down there, and then I intend to put my Switch Pro up in here somewhere. I don't know exactly where yet, haven't found a spot. Or not my Switch Pro, I'm sorry. My Amazon Special Switch Pro. I also got my grounding bar, I'll call it. Pretty hefty looking unit there. Better than the ones I saw on the Vance website. That's from Amazon. That was $18 before tax. Plus they had a lot more of the screws in it to ground with, and they had 2 big lugs. So that will also be mounted up in there somewhere. But I'm going to get back at it and try to get the actual unit mounted so I can finish up my wiring of the switch and connector end. Alright, so here's the test, see if it works. Alright, good deal. So that works. So this is some of the wiring done to that. Some of my ground wiring also. So on your Amazon Switch Pro, there is 6 of those little white pieces. They're butt connectors. I'm not sure what's on them, if it's like a heat shrink or something. So you just push your wire in those, crimp it, and like I said, there's 6 of those. You just put your wire in there, crimp them, and it comes with these stickers. I think I already showed them at the beginning of the video. I'm going to use the windshield one just because that's where my light bar is mounted, and that'll leave options for my other stuff. Then I have a backup camera I'm going to put on too. I'm not sure if I'll include that in this video or if it'll go in something else. But the power for it will also run off the Switch Pro, so it ain't running all the time. I also don't have like a backup camera switch or something though, so I'm not sure what. Maybe just use the backup for it, because I want to do reverse lights too. But I could always just use like the off-road one, or maybe just the squares or something, or light bar, small, whatever. Whatever I end up using on the back, I could probably use one of them to work it out. Especially being familiar with this machine, I would know it. So, I'm not sure if it changes colors or something though with the stickers. I call them stickers. I'm not sure what they actually will be considered. But I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure how it works. When you get this on there, how it changes the pattern of the light. So, okay, not sure about how that's gonna work. But I got it in there and it's jammed, so I don't know what the deal is there. Sort of off to one side, it seems like. So I don't have my sticker lined up. I think it's part of it. So I'm going to work on getting that lined out because that's probably messed up now. But I've got a couple stickers on there. I figured out the best way was to take and hold it with the top like this and get your bottom positioned and then sort of roll it on, make sure it fits right, and then just squeeze in on your switch to sort of make sure it's glued on good. And I had to pop that one back off to adjust it a little bit. Still don't look 100%, but it does work now. So there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and thank y'all for watching. More to come. Thank you.